Imagine a world where your own name isn't just a word people use to call you for dinner. Imagine if your name was a secret, a treasure, and a price tag all at once. Imagine being a little child, still learning how to ride a bike or draw a sun in the corner of a paper, while the whole world is whispering about who you are. This is a story about a prince, a star, and a mystery that keeps growing behind the tall, golden gates of a life most of us can only dream about. It is a story of shadows and bright lights, of secrets kept and secrets sold. In this tale, nothing is exactly as it seems, and every smile might be hiding a plan. The story begins not with a crown, but with something much smaller. It begins with the soft, flickering light of a single candle. Once upon a time, there was a prince named Harry. People say he was a man who often spoke before he thought. He had a big heart, but sometimes his words got him into trouble. For a long time, he and his wife, a beautiful actress named Meghan, told the world they wanted to keep their children safe. They wanted their little boy and girl, Archie and Lilibet, to live a quiet life. They wanted them to be away from the flashing cameras and the loud voices of the world. They wanted them to be invisible like little ghosts in a big, happy garden. But then something strange happened. A candle appeared. It wasn't just any candle. It was a product, something you could buy with money. And on the label of that candle, for everyone to see, were the names of those two little children. Suddenly, the world began to wonder. If you want to hide your children, why put their names on a box that strangers can buy? Was it a sweet gift from a mother's heart, or was it something else? Some people, like an old storyteller named Dickie, who used to work in the great palace, started to ask hard questions. Dickie had seen many things in his life. He had watched a legendary princess, the prince's own mother, try to raise her boys in a world that wouldn't stop watching them. He knew the price of fame, and when he saw those names on that candle, he felt a chill. He didn't think it was an accident. He used a very strong word to describe what was happening. He called it ruthless. In this dramatized story, we have to look at the patterns. Think about a game of connect the dots. One dot is a candle. Another dot is a picture on a phone screen. It is said that before she was a duchess, the star had a page where she shared her life. People noticed that sometimes a photo of a family moment would pop up, but it wasn't just a photo. If you tapped on the screen, a little link would appear. You could buy the dress the child was wearing. You could buy the shoes. You could buy the toys. To some, this felt like a cozy way to share a life. But to others, it felt like the children were being used as tiny helpers to sell things. It felt like the line between a family hug and a business deal was disappearing. They say the shopping links were taken away after people got angry, but the mystery stayed. Did the plan change, or did it just find a new way to hide? The old storyteller, Dickie, remembered the prince's mother, the princess of the people. She was a woman who lived in a storm of cameras. She tried so hard to give her boys a normal life. She took them to get fast food. She took them to play at parks. She wanted them to know what it felt like to be just Harry and just William. She knew that once the world owns your face, you can never get it back. That is why Dickie's warning was so loud. He said that if you truly want privacy, you keep your photos in an album on the shelf. You don't put them on the internet where the whole world can see them forever. Because once a picture is out there, it belongs to everyone. Then there's another man in our story, a writer named Duncan. He watches the prince and the star very closely. He thinks that the pictures we see of the children aren't just random moments of happiness. He thinks they're like pieces on a chessboard. He noticed something. Whenever the prince and the star were in trouble, or whenever people were saying mean things about them, a new, cute photo of the children would suddenly appear. It was as if the children were being used to make people feel happy and forget the bad news. When the star wanted to start a new business, there were the children. When the prince was feeling lonely, there were the children. To Duncan, it didn't look like a family album. It looked like a content calendar, a list of things to show the world to keep them interested. The story gets even more complicated when we go back to the beginning. Before the big wedding, before the white dress and the flowers, there were whispers in the palace halls. Legend says that the prince's own family told him to slow down. The wise queen and the prince's own brother supposedly pulled him aside. They weren't being mean, the story goes. They were just worried. They thought everything was moving too fast. They thought a life of duty and rules was very hard, and they wanted to make sure the star was ready for it. But the prince was in love. He didn't want to wait. He wanted his fairy tale to start right away. And so they got married in a giant castle while millions of people watched on their TVs. It was a day of sunshine, but some say the shadows were already waiting in the corners. The star found that the palace was not like a movie. In movies, princesses just wear pretty dresses and dance. In the real palace, there are thousands of rules. You have to walk a certain way, you have to speak a certain way, you have to follow the people who are more important than you. It was a culture shock. The star was an independent woman from a land of sunshine and dreams. She was used to making her own choices. In the palace, she felt like a bird in a golden cage. Some say she struggled with the helpers in the palace too. There were rumors that the people who worked for her were unhappy, that they felt pushed too hard. The star's friends say this isn't true, that she was just a hard worker who wanted things to be perfect. But the stories of the firm and the actress clashing became a dark cloud over the family. Then came a big speech in a place called Geneva. The star stood up in front of many important people and talked about how the internet can be a scary place for children. She spoke about how we need to protect our little ones from being watched and tracked online. It was a beautiful speech. Many people clapped, but then those same people looked at her own life. They saw the candle. They saw the photos. They saw the way the children's names were being used to build a brand. They asked, how can you tell us to protect children when you are showing yours to the world? It felt like a puzzle where the pieces didn't fit. Some experts said that even if you hide a child's face in a photo, you're still telling the world too much. You are telling them where they live, what they like, and when their birthdays are. You are building a digital identity for a child who hasn't even learned to read yet. There is another secret in this story, something about the internet. It is said that even before the children were born, or when they were very, very little, someone went out and bought all the domain names for them. That means they bought the websites that had the children's names in them. To a fan, this looks like a smart mom and dad protecting their kids so that mean people can't use their names. But to a critic, it looks like a business plan. It looks like they were preparing to sell things using those names from the very start. It makes people wonder, are these children just children, or are they products of a royal brand? The prince had always said he wanted to leave the cameras behind. He said his life in the palace was like being in a zoo. He wanted to go to a place where he could be quiet and free. But now he lives in a world of Netflix specials, big interviews, and shiny magazines. The story says that his wife is living her dream of being a global star, but the prince might be living his nightmare. He is still being watched. He is still being followed. Only now it's not just him. It's his children, too. And the connection to the king and the queen back in the old country is the only reason people are still so interested. Without the royal title, would anyone care about the candle? Without the prince name, would the photos be worth millions? This is the heart of the drama. It's a story about where the family ends and the business begins. We all love to share pictures of our kids. We all want to be proud of them. But most of us don't have a brand to sell. Most of us don't have a world waiting to see what we do next so they can talk about it on the news. The line between being a mom and being a manager is very thin in this story. Some people see a mother who loves her kids and wants to include them in her work. Others see a strategy that uses innocent faces to make sure the world keeps watching. As the sun sets on our story, the questions are still there. The candle has been lit and the smoke is swirling. Is the star truly a victim of a cold palace that didn't understand her? Or is she a clever leader who knows exactly how to use her family to stay famous? Is the prince happy in his new home, or does he look back at the old castle and wonder if he made a mistake? And what about the children? They are the ones at the center of the storm. They don't know about the speeches or the shopping links or the old storyteller's warnings. They are just kids. But in this dramatized tale of fame and royalty, even a child's name can be a spark that starts a fire. What do you think when you see a child's name on a product? Does it feel warm and sweet like a hug, or does it feel cold like a transaction at a store? In the world of The Prince and the Star, every choice is a headline, every smile is a story, and the mystery of what is really happening behind those closed doors is something that might never be solved. We watch from far away, wondering which parts are real and which parts are just a show. We wonder if the prince finally found the piece he was looking for, or if he just traded one cage for another. The candles are burning, the cameras are waiting, and the world is still watching. It is a story that never ends, a drama that keeps us all asking, what is the price of being a royal in a digital world, and who really pays that price in the end? Think about the weight of a name. When you are born, your parents give you a name as a gift. It belongs to you. It is how you tell the world who you are. But for Archie and Lilibet, their names were already famous before they could even speak. They were born into a story that was already being written by people they would never meet. The drama of their lives is that they are part of a brand called the Sussexes. This brand is like a giant ship, and the children are the passengers, but the ship needs fuel to keep moving. That fuel is attention. Without people looking at them, without people talking about them, the ship might stop. That is why people worry. They worry that the children are the fuel. They say the star is a genius at making people look at her. She knows how to dress, how to smile, and how to tell a story that makes you feel something. When she talks about her children, she does it in a way that feels very personal. She tells stories about making breakfast or playing in the dirt. These stories make her seem like every other mom. But then the shopping links appear. Then the Netflix cameras roll. Then the big speeches happen. It is a mix of normal life and famous life that is very confusing. It's like a movie that says it's a documentary. You never know what is a real moment and what is a scene that was practiced in front of a mirror. And then there is the ghost of the princess, Harry's mother. Her story is the saddest part of all. She was a woman who was loved by the whole world, but she felt very alone. She wanted her sons to be free. She wanted them to have hearts that were bigger than their crowns. Harry says he's doing all of this to protect his family, just like his mother would have wanted. He says he moved across the ocean to get away from the vultures. But the critics say he brought the vultures with him. They say he invited the cameras into his house. They say he told the secrets of his father and his brother for money. In this dramatized version of their lives, the prince is a man who is trying to save his family but might be losing himself in the process. The ruthless warning from the old storyteller Dickie stays in the air like a heavy mist. He saw what happened when the world wouldn't let a princess be. He saw the tears behind the diamonds. He warns that you cannot play with fame. You cannot use it when you want it and then tell it to go away when you are tired. Fame is like a dragon. You can try to ride it, but you have to be very careful or it will swallow you whole. And if you put your children on the dragon's back with you, you are taking a very big risk. The story of the candle is just one small chapter. There will be more candles, there will be more photos, there will be more speeches. Each time the world will argue. Some will say, look at this beautiful family, they're so happy and modern. Others will say, look at how they use their children to stay in the news, it's not right. There is no easy answer, but in this fictionalized drama, the tension never goes away. It is a tug of war between a life of privacy and a life of branding. Imagine being the prince, sitting in a big house far away from the palace where he grew up. He hears his children laughing in the next room. He wants them to be happy. He wants them to be safe, but then he looks at his phone and sees 1,000 stories about them. He sees people arguing about their names. He sees his wife getting ready for another big interview. Does he feel like he won? Does he feel like he finally found the freedom he wanted? Or does he feel the weight of the cameras again, even though they are his own cameras this time? The drama of the royal family is the world's favorite story. We love the crowns, the dresses, and the secrets. But behind the glitter, there are real feelings. There are brothers who don't talk to each other. There are fathers who are sad. There are mothers who are trying to do their best. And there are children who are just starting their journey. The mystery of Meghan and Harry is a story of our time. It's a story about the internet, about money, and about what it means to be a family when everyone is watching. As we finish this tale, we think about the line between what is public and what is private. We think about the choices parents make for their kids. We think about the prince who wanted to be invisible and the star who was born to shine. The story of the Sussex brand is a drama that will keep us talking for a long time. Whether it's a candle with a name on it or a photo released at just the right time, every detail is a piece of the puzzle. We may never see the whole picture. We may never know the real truth, but we can look at the patterns, we can listen to the warnings, and we can wonder about the little boy and girl who are growing up in the middle of a world-famous mystery. In the end, the story of the royal family is a story about us too. It's about how we look at famous people, it's about what we expect from them, and it's about how we value privacy in a world where everything is for sale. The prince and the star have chosen their path. They have left the old castle behind and built a new one out of dreams and digital lights. But the shadows of the past are long. The rules of the old world still whisper in the wind. And the little children, Archie and Lilibet, are the ones who will have to live in the world their parents are building. Will they grow up to be proud of their names on the candles? Or will they wish they had been just normal kids in a normal garden away from the brand and the business? Only time will tell the end of this story. For now, the drama continues. The mystery stays deep, and the world keeps watching, waiting for the next dot to connect, the next photo to appear, and the next chapter of this royal-style legend to unfold. The candle is still burning. The light is bright. But if you look closely, you can see the shadows dancing on the wall. And in those shadows, the real story is still waiting to be told. So we return to the beginning. The flickering candle, the names on the label, the ruthless warning. It all points to a life where nothing is just a hobby. Everything is a message. Everything is a part of the brand. The star moves with grace, the prince moves with passion, and the children move with innocence. But the world they live in is not innocent. It is a world of strategy and timing. It is a world where a birthday photo can be a shield against a bad headline. It is a world where a domain name is a piece of property. Is it a tragedy or a triumph? Is it an escape or a trap? The story of Harry and Meghan is a mirror. It shows us what we want to see. Some see heroes who fought for their love. Some see people who turned their backs on their duty. But no matter what you see, you cannot deny the drama. You cannot deny the tension. It is a story that has everything: royalty, fame, family fights, and secret plans. And at the center of it all are two little children who have no idea that their names are being discussed by millions of people. We can only hope that behind the gates there is real peace. We can hope that the prince found the quiet he wanted and that the star found the respect she looked for. But as long as the shopping links in the Netflix shows and the content calendars exist, the world will keep asking questions. They will keep looking for the shocking truth that Dickie Arbiter talked about. They will keep wondering what is really happening behind the scenes. Because in the world of the royals, even when you leave the palace, you can never truly leave the story. The crown might be gone, but the spotlight stays, and the spotlight is the hottest flame of all. As the years go by, Archie and Lilibet will grow up. They will learn to read. They will go on the internet. They will find the candles and the photos and the speeches. They will find the stories about their mom and dad. They will see the world arguing about who they are. What will they think? Will they feel like they were protected? Or will they feel like they were a part of a show they didn't ask to be in? That is the final question of our drama. That is the mystery that only the future can answer. For now, the story of the prince and the star remains one of the greatest tales of our time. A story of love, power, and the high price of a name. The drama never sleeps. The palace stays silent, the mansion in the sun stays busy, and the people of the world keep talking. Every gesture, every look, and every word is weighed and measured. Was that a tear of real sadness, or was it for the camera? Was that a laugh of real joy, or was it for the brand? We may never know. We are just the audience in this giant theater. We watch the play, we listen to the music, and we wait for the next act. The prince and the star are the lead actors, and their children are the newest stars of the show. Whether they want to be or not, they are part of the legend now, and the legend is just getting started. So let us think about the line between the private heart and the public face. Let us think about the secrets we keep and the stories we tell. The tale of the prince, the star, and the candle is a reminder that in the modern world, everything can be a brand, even a family, especially a royal one. And as the curtain falls on this chapter, we are left with the image of a small candle, glowing in the dark, carrying the names of two children into a world that will never stop watching. The fire is beautiful, but it is also dangerous, and the story, as always, is far from over. In this dramatized world, we see the star standing on a stage, her voice full of emotion. She talks about the safety of children. She talks about the digital world being a trap. And then we see the prince, the man who wanted to escape, now helping to create the very things he once feared. It is a story of contradictions. It is a story of a family trying to find their way in a world that doesn't have a map. They are making it up as they go, and the whole world is giving them advice. Some say they are doing it all wrong, some say they are doing it all right, but the truth is, nobody knows for sure. The old storyteller, the writer, the critics, and the fans, they all have their own version of the story. But the only ones who know the real story are the ones living it, and they aren't telling. They are just showing us what they want us to see: a candle, a photo, a speech, a link. These are the clues we have. We put them together and try to make sense of the mystery. We look for the unsettling truth and the shocking revelation. But maybe the truth isn't shocking at all. Maybe it's just a story of two people trying to be famous and private at the same time, and finding out that you can't have both. So we wait for the next headline. We wait for the next candle. We wait to see what Archie and Lilibet will become. In this grand fictionalized drama of our time, the only thing that is certain is that the world will be there to watch. The cameras will be ready, the internet will be waiting, and the story of the prince and the star will continue to grow bit by bit, dot by dot, until it becomes a legend that people will tell for 100 years. The names on the candle will fade, the wax will melt, but the drama will last forever. As we close our eyes and imagine this royal-style story, let's remember the children. In all the talk of brands and content and ruthlessness, they are the ones who matter most. Let's hope they find a way to be themselves, even with the names they carry. Let's hope they find a way to be happy, even in the middle of a story they didn't write. The world is a big, loud place, but a family should be a quiet, safe harbor. Whether the prince and the star have built that harbor or a glass house for everyone to see, that is the heart of the mystery. And with that, our story pauses. The lights dim, the voices whisper, and the mystery of the candle stays in the air, glowing softly, waiting for the next day to begin.